Right.
All right, everyone. We have limited time today, so let's go ahead and get started. Craig, thank you for joining us. I'm going to do a brief introduction and just a few housekeeping items, and then I will have you get started. So
Right.
once again, good afternoon, and thank you so much to everyone for joining us today. This is the Rules Advisory Committee meeting for the delivery of alcoholic beverages direct to consumer. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules. Again, my name is Nicole Blase, and I'm the rules coordinator for the OLCC. And I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping items before we get started today. This meeting is being recorded. Again, please ensure that your phone or computer are muted unless you are speaking today. We have a pretty full group, so if everyone could please be considerate of others speaking today. Only invited committee members will be a part of today's conversation. Members were selected due to their level of interest or position within the community. With that in mind, we ask that each of you serve as a goodwill ambassador to the discussion so that you may represent your constituency professionally. Please be courteous to other committee members so that we don't have multiple participants speaking at once. You may use the raise hand function in Teams, or if you are calling in, please interject when appropriate and we will call on you in order. Non-committee members will be able to tender comments during the public hearing and during the comment period. Committee members, when speaking, please state your first and last name when you make a comment. Just going to mute someone is making some noise. Again, if you could please mute your phone or computer while we are going over the introductions. Thank you. Today is Wednesday, October 11th at approximately 1:03 p.m. Many of you are familiar with the rulemaking process, but for those of you who have not participated with us or are listening in, I will begin by saying a few words about rulemaking and the purpose of advisory committee meetings. The purpose of an advisory committee meeting is to increase the public's involvement in the drafting and development of administrative rules. The Oregon Legislature, through its enactment of the Administrative Procedures Act, ORS Chapter 183, stresses the critical importance of the public's participation in policy development. Advisory committees are an excellent way to solicit input from internal and external stakeholders who are likely to be impacted by the development or amendment of agency policy and rule. Consequently, advisory committee invitees may include licensees, permittees, industry representatives, OLCC staff, members of law enforcement, local government, the public, local community organizations, small businesses, and other interested stakeholders. The purpose of having all of the members on this committee today is to hear from different parts of the industry and public health and safety partners. The Commission strives to hear from all interested parties. Our role today will be to explain the background and context of these rules and the changes that are being proposed in this package. We will provide facilitation to ensure that all committee members can provide input today. Under Oregon's public meeting law, this meeting is open to the public, and members of the public are free to observe our discussion, but may not offer comments. The agency will digitally record this advisory committee meeting and will produce and circulate a record of our discussion. However, because this meeting is intended to promote the open exchange of ideas, we will maintain an informal atmosphere, and meeting minutes will record only the topics discussed and the main points made. Approximately 1 week after this meeting, we will post and distribute the meeting's audio. We will now move on to introductions. I will be calling on you to introduce yourself. When introducing yourself, please state your name and the organization you are representing. Again, my name is Nicole Blase, and I am the rules coordinator for the OLCC. And next we have our executive director, Craig Prinz, joining us today. I think you're on mute, Craig. Sorry.
I was. So I was trying to be good and didn't know if I was making that background noise. So for everyone, I see a lot of familiar faces here from around our different partnerships. And I just want to, for the record, say I'm Craig Prinz. I'm the executive director interim for the OLCC. I just want to say good afternoon. I want to welcome everyone to today's Rules Advisory Committee on the alcohol delivery rules. And just as Nicole said, you know, I know a lot of you know about the rulemaking process, but I want to make sure for those of you, I just want to give a little bit of context of what we're here to work on. Some of you were intimately involved with this, and some of you, this is new, but we're here to work on the rules that came out of the 23 legislature that became House Bill 3308, which passed this last session. And this is a continuation of the OLCC's role in regulating the changing environment of for alcohol regulation here in Oregon. For some of y'all, you remember I think we made it to the -9 amendment in the 3308 legislative session. And so we're putting into action that bill that the legislature passed. And the goal of that was to ensure, safe delivery of alcoholic beverages to consumers, focused on the OLCC's regulatory function of making sure those deliveries are done so that public health and public safety of citizens in Oregon are maintained. As you know, we're bound by those statutes. That's the framework of this program. And so these are the rules, the rule package that kind of will take that framework and make it a functional program for y'all. And that's where we want to come in. That's where this process comes in that Nicole mentioned is we want to hear from you about the ways this rule package can be improved, make sure we're thinking about how it can be improved. And to do that, you know, we want input from a wide variety of partners, which allows us to turn this legislative vision into action. I wanted to make something clear with the timeframes we have for setting up the training and the process for this. We are planning to do this rule with a temporary rule in place first until July 1, 2024, and that at that point we'll be implementing permanent rules. We also, so we invite you to participate in the future as well, but want to make clear that's how we're planning to proceed. I've talked a lot here, so let me just end my introduction by saying I want to thank you, all of you, including my staff, including our partners, including our agents, our licensees, the advocates in this space. I want to thank all of you for making time for this today. I think this is important work. We all want to work to make this work and meet those goals that I laid out at the top. And I just want to end my comments by just saying we truly value your input, and we worked best when we worked together with you all. And so I want to thank you for your time and participation, and I'll hand it back to my staff. Nicole.
Thank you so much for joining us, Craig, today, and for that explanation about the temporary rule. We can go forward and introduce the OLCC staff who have joined us today. I'll start with Tyler Glaze.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tyler Glaze. I am an alcohol policy analyst here with the OLCC. And I really appreciate you, like Craig said, all joining us here today. Your input is extremely valuable. Let me move on to Danica Foster to introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. Danica Foster, Director of Licensing. I oversee both alcohol and cannabis licensing for the agency. And we'll just echo the comments of appreciate everyone's participation in this.
Thanks, Danica. Nicole Mitchell.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nicole Mitchell. I am a marijuana licensing technician and currently working out of class as an alcohol policy analyst. I'm glad to be here today.
Thanks, Nicole. Meredith.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Meredith King, and I am an alcohol licensing technician. And again, thank you all for being here and participating.
Thanks, Meredith. Christopher.
Good afternoon, Christopher Vossen. I am a liquor licensing assistant manager, and thank you all for coming today.
Thanks, Christopher. Melanie.
Good afternoon, everyone. Melanie Musial, Director of Administrative Hearings Division here at OLCC.
Thanks, Melanie. I see Susan.
Hi, I'm Susan Rudberg, alcohol licensing technician.
Thanks, Susan. Randy.
Good afternoon, Randy Hancock. I am the alcohol compliance technician for the state.
Thanks, Randy. Andy.
Good afternoon, Andy Jurek, Director of Compliance Alcohol Program. And I'll echo what Craig said. Appreciate you guys being here and look forward to working with the stakeholders and moving forward with this new rule.
Thanks, Andy. I see Steve Sander.
I am Steve Sander, the program coordinator for the Alcohol and Marijuana Education Program here at the OLCC, and looking forward to getting this work done so we can get it up and running by the first of the year.
Thanks, Steve. Heidi.
Heidi Anderson, the liquor licensing manager with OLCC, and I'm happy to be here with everybody getting this great work done.
Thanks, Heidi. Is there anybody else from the agency on the call that I'm not seeing?
I don't think so. Well, maybe there is Nicole, but I just wanted to say to everyone, I need to drop off. I apologize. I've got another conflicting meeting, so I'm going to hand it off to my staff. If there's any other staff that I missed, please jump in here. But again, thank you, and I'll be handing it off. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Craig. All right, I'll go ahead and move on to the RAC members who have responded that they'd be attending. Danelle Romaine.
Hey, good afternoon. Danelle Romaine, Executive Director, Oregon Beer and Wine Distributors Association.
Thanks, Danelle. Mike Freeze.
He's Oregon Beer and Wine Distributors Association.
Thank you, Mike. Greg Astley.
Hi, Greg Astley, Director of Government Affairs for the Oregon Restaurant and Lodging Association.
Thanks, Greg. Jeff Giametta.
Yeah, Jeff Giametta from Davis Wright Tremaine, representing the Oregon wine growers and some other supplier licensees.
Thank you, Jeff. Christina LaRue. Amanda Dalton.
Hi, Amanda Dalton with the Northwest Grocery Association.
Thanks, Amanda. Jennifer Olson.
Hi, Jennifer Olson with Government Relations Strategies.
Thanks, Jennifer. Nicole Palmatier Hazelbaker.
Thank you, Nicole Palmatier Hazelbaker, joining all the Nicoles today here on behalf of Uber Eats.
There are a lot of us. Thank you, Nicole. J.R. Starrett. Kat Holm.
Good afternoon. My name is Kat Holm and I am with Instacart.
Thanks, Kat. Tyler Blackney.
Good afternoon, everyone. Tyler Blackney, and I'm with Amazon.
Thanks, Tyler. Debbie Heron. Amanda Q. Tony Morse.
Oh, hey, Nicole.
Oh, hi, Amanda. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Amanda Q. I'm a policy specialist with Oregon Health Authority's Public Health Division, Health Promotion, Chronic Disease Prevention. Thanks.
Thanks, Amanda. Tony Morse.
Thank you. And good afternoon. Tony Morse, he, him, his, the Policy and Advocacy Director from Oregon Recovers.
Great. Thanks, Tony. Gary Engler. William Davis. Nope, William, you're still on mute. Let's see. Okay, we'll come back to you, William. You'll just need to unmute your microphone. Dan Miner.
Dan Miner, liquor agent for Hollywood Beverage.
Thanks, Dan. Okay, is there anybody else on the RAC that was invited but did not RSVP that I'm possibly missing?
Hi, this is Alex Mooney with DoorDash.
Okay, thanks, Alex. Okay, so since we have limited time today, we are going to go ahead and get started. As I mentioned in the email that was circulated with the meeting materials, we are going to try and do our best to get through all of the proposed language first and save questions and comments and concerns and discussion towards the end of the meeting. Yes, William, I see your hand up.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I was having technical difficulty, but I'm William Davis, representing Concord Lounge on Southeast Hawthorne.
Great. Thanks for joining us, William.
Thank you
Okay,
guys
so
for-
now I will hand it off to Tyler Glaze, who's going to go over the proposed language with us today.
All right, thank you, Nicole. I appreciate all of you for being here again. For all those folks that have hopped in since we introduced ourselves, let me begin by sharing my screen and going through this rule package real quick. All right. Can everyone see that language? All right, let's get going. So we're going to start right here at 845-005-0401. This section is being repealed. And it's being replaced with additional language that's being added down further below in the rule package. All right, to our first rule where we're adding in information. This is 845-005-0416. Delivery of alcoholic beverages to individuals. This is our definition section. We define the terms deliver, delivery address, and delivery person. And these definitions are consistent with the statutes that authorize this, specifically the statutes laid out in House Bill 3308. So if you've seen House Bill 3308, you will be familiar with these definitions. We also include the definitions of eligible business, which includes several license types. The definitions of final consumer, third-party delivery facilitator. And we will be moving right along. 845-005-0424 is being removed as well. These were guidelines for the for-hire carrier program. Again, this information is going to be removed and going to be replaced with other language later on in the rules package and in part with the statute. And we're adding in the qualifications for a third-party delivery facilitator permit and the requirements that authorizations that are part of that permit application process. So these companies that are planning on providing these deliveries, these third-party delivery facilitators, they're going to be acting on behalf of these eligible businesses. They will be required to obtain a permit. And as part of that, they will need to provide an application, including training programs and ensuring that their drivers have all taken those programs before making those deliveries. Some things to note, the permit's issued for a period of 1 year. And that is a calendar year. And so just something to be aware of, the current fee in this rules package is $500 for an application for that permit, and grants various powers to the commission to refuse to issue or renew. These are the powers of a third-party delivery facilitator here in subsection 8. Deliver or cause to be delivered alcoholic beverages to a final consumer on behalf of an eligible business. Advertise alcoholic beverages available for retail sales, solicit, receive, and accept orders for alcoholic beverages from final consumers, and receive payment for alcoholic beverages ordered by final consumers provided by an eligible business. And again, this is consistent with the framework that was established by House Bill 3308. This language here establishes violations and the requirements for third-party delivery facilitators acting on behalf of eligible businesses, using only delivery persons who have completed training and have a valid certificate of completion, or at least 18 years of age, hold a valid driver's license or other identification as established by rule, And here's a section that has this no violent crimes conviction and the incident leading to the conviction occurred within 2 years of the date of delivery, or 2 or more violent felony convictions, and at least 2 of the incidents leading to these convictions occurred within 4 years of the delivery. And it goes on to define felony violent crimes convictions. These are, again, driver requirements. Further requirements here. And finally, there's some additional information here that requires the collection of information based on the deliveries that are made by this holder of a third-party delivery facilitator permit, the date and time the alcoholic beverages were delivered to the final consumer, the number of alcoholic beverages contained, name and information that can be used, name and information that can be used to determine the name of the individual delivering the alcoholic beverages, and the name and delivery address of the final consumer receiving those beverages. Additionally, the third-party delivery facilitator permittee must allow the commission to audit the permittee's records. Permittees must make these records available to the commission no later than 30 days after the commission sends the notice to the committee, or the permittee. Subsection 13 establishes civil penalties. At least $500 per violation, no more than $4,000 per violation. And then we're moving on to the very next rule, 845-005-0451. These are the alcohol delivery and training program and certification of completion rules. So when permittees apply for their permit, they must also submit a training program that their drivers will undertake, whether that will be offered in-house in that permittee's company or will be offered by another company that the permittee will be contracting with. These are the requirements that they must undergo. The delivery training program shall include training on at least the following: forms of identification required by 471-130, and commission rule, and methods for identifying, inspecting, accepting, or rejecting identification, signs of visible intoxication, and methods for recognizing these signs, and for refusing to deliver alcoholic beverages to a final consumer, and rules adopted by the commission relating to the delivery of alcoholic beverages to a final consumer. So these training programs can only be used after they have been approved by the commission. Something of note, notwithstanding that requirement of approval, from January 1st, 2024 to March 1st, 2024, if a permittee has submitted an alcohol delivery training program to the commission for approval, the alcohol delivery training program will be considered conditionally approved until the commission either notifies the permittee of a refusal to approve pursuant to subsection 3 below, or issues a final approval. Subsection 3, the commission may refuse to approve an alcohol delivery training program if the commission determines that the program does not meet the requirements of this rule. Upon submission of this training program, it obviously must meet the requirements, and a $250 fee must be submitted. Permittee must resubmit an alcohol delivery training program to the commission for approval every 5 years. Notwithstanding this section, a permittee is responsible for updating any approved training program to reflect new or changed rules adopted by the commission relating to the delivery of alcoholic beverages to a final consumer. Additionally, here's a requirement, subsection 5, that I just unfortunately skipped past. Requires that there be a certificate of completion given to anyone who completes those training programs. That is a requirement we're establishing in rule. A third-party delivery facilitator permittee must retain information on the delivery persons who have been provided an alcohol delivery training program and issued with a certificate of completion by the permittee. For a minimum of 3 years, that requirement is established from the date that the delivery person successfully completed the training program. And that includes a copy of the certificate of completion, the name of the delivery person, the date the delivery person successfully completed the training, the name of the third-party delivery facilitator permittee, so that's the company that obtains that permit, and if applicable, the name of the party under a contract with a third-party delivery facilitator who provided that training program. And they must allow the commission upon request to audit the permittee's records, and those must be made available within, no later than 30 days after the request. Subsection 7 establishes violations. Now we'll continue moving
Hey,
along.
Tyler, can I ask a quick question?
Certainly.
Is that okay? Are you, if we ask questions while you're running through these?
By all means.
Okay, Amanda Dalton, The Grocers. Quick question on the conditional approval of the training program, that 90 days. Is the idea from the agency that the company will train on that conditional approval, or is the idea the company begins training after the approval is official?
So individuals from the OLCC, please step in, correct me if I'm wrong, but the understanding that I received from executive team and the managers that are running this show is that this conditional approval is meant to make sure that we have drivers getting trained as soon as possible. Obviously, we're all concerned about that January 1st date. So anyone applying to that through that period, we're considering those training programs conditionally approved, and we would want drivers trained on those programs as quickly as possible. We're just trying to expedite that process, but by the same token, we still would like to go on and do reviews, as after March 1st, 2024, and make sure that those training programs are up to snuff. So barring, major deficiencies in those training programs from that period, they're conditionally approved.
Thank you.
All right, moving into 845-006-0391. This again is the delivery of alcoholic beverages to individuals. The definition sections, again, these are consistent with House Bill 3308.
Hi, it looks like William, you have a question.
Yeah, sorry about that. Now, the training program, are the licensee or the third party, are they eligible, or can they become the facilitator or the trainee as well? Or are people supposed to go to a specific place to get trained?
So that is an option that we're providing. That's an excellent question. We would like to, based on these rules and based on HB 3308, either one of those is an opportunity. So as long as the training program has been submitted and approved by the OLCC, or if it's submitted in that 2-month period, it's conditionally approved. You can either train in-house with your company that holds the permit, the third-party delivery facilitator permit. They can offer their own trainings, like I said, assuming they're approved, or that third-party delivery facilitator can contract out with, there's a variety of companies that offer trainings. They can contract out with those companies to provide trainings to their employees. Either one of those options is available.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. If we could, I know everybody has a lot of questions and has a lot of input, but we still have a lot of language to get through. So we're going to try to do that first. And I promise everyone will have a chance at the end to ask questions and further the discussion. Go ahead, Tyler. Thank you.
All right. So 006-0392, delivery of manufacturer sealed and securely covered containers of wine and cider to a final consumer. This section is having significant language removed and altered to comply with the new delivery rules. So a new section of definitions. New definition of securely covered container of wine and cider. empty container was supplied by a final consumer to the licensee in this subsection. And the eligible business may sell for delivery directly to a final consumer, manufacture sealed containers of wine and cider, only if those persons have those full license types. The deliverer cause the delivery of wine or cider directly to a final consumer and eligible business, in addition to complying with all other requirements of this rule, must use a third-party delivery facilitator, permittee, or an individual who is an employee or agent under the direct control of the eligible business. In addition to the requirements for third-party delivery facilitators maintaining those records on their deliveries, we also have a requirement here that an eligible business that uses the third-party delivery facilitator must also collect information, including the name of the third-party delivery facilitator permittee, the date and time the wine or cider was transferred to the third party, and the name and delivery address of the final consumer receiving that wine or cider. After transferring the wine or cider to the physical possession of the third-party delivery facilitator permittee or any delivery person used by the third-party delivery facilitator permittee, the eligible business is not responsible for any failure of the third-party delivery facilitator permittee or any delivery person used by that third-party delivery facilitator permittee to follow the regulations or rules specific to third-party delivery facilitator permittees. So these are additional requirements for the eligible business who uses their own employees. That individual must be 18 years of age and have a valid driver's license or other state issued identification. This person also must have a valid commission issued service permit or has completed a training program within the last 5 years that includes training on at least forms of identification, signs of visible intoxication, and rules adopted by the commission relating to the delivery of alcoholic beverages to a final consumer. Additionally, I would like to point out that the deliveries to a final consumer who is at least 21 years of age, whose identification matches the identification provided upon creation of the delivery order. So that is something that third-party delivery facilitators should take note of, as well as eligible businesses making these deliveries. It's to the individual who placed the order, not any individual who's 21 years and older. There's some labeling requirements.
Hey, Tyler, sorry, this is Amanda Dalton again. I'm confused by the last comment that was, do you want us to wait? Are we going to go through this again for comments? Are you just doing the overview now? Or
I'm just doing a real quick overview of the language and then we'll go in for comments.
And then we'll go back for comments. Okay, thank you.
Correct, yes. All right. Moving right along. Down to 845-006-0396. Manufacturers sealed and securely covered containers of malt beverages. Again, we've removed this language and replaced it with language that complies with HB 3308. In addition to these definitions, definitions of securely covered containers, identifies that these may to be delivered by a third-party delivery facilitator permittee or an individual who's an employee or agent under the direct control of the eligible business. Information collection is the same for malt beverages as it was for wine and cider. Same responsibility rules. Same rules for individuals who are employees of the eligible business. Same information collection rules. And the same identification rules. Labeling. And we're moving right along to 845-006-0399, sale of mixed drinks and single servings of wine. There are not as nearly as many changes to this section just because we're adapting these to include language like final consumer instead of resident of Oregon so that they comply with House Bill 3308. Delivery locations are addressed here, subsection F. Same language that was seen in the malt beverage and wine and cider. Delivered by the third-party delivery facilitator permittee or an individual who's an employee or agent. 18 years of age and has completed training. The same information collection rules. Finally, there's a section here, 845-006-0500 on suspensions and civil penalties. No changes to this part. 845-009-0200 uniform standards for minor decoy operations. These are consistent with the language of HB 3308. All right, and that brings us to the end of that rules package. So we would like to start raising hands and we will start receiving comments on this rules package.
Thanks, Tyler. Yeah, if everyone could, who is on Teams, could raise their hand and we can start going through questions and comments in order that way. And then after that, if there's anyone on the phone, we can have you guys go after that. So who would like to start comments, questions, concerns, discussion? Okay, Jeff.
Hi there. I know I can't be the only one that has anything to say, but I'll start. I have a few things sort of sprinkled throughout, and they're really just striving for clarity and not giving people the opportunity to misunderstand the rules. And I guess I'll start with the rule 0424. And specifically in section 8 of that rule, it's where they go through the privileges of the third-party permit. So one of the items there, it says that they can advertise alcohol beverages for retail sale. Great. Just wondering what happens in the situation where we're dealing with eligible businesses who are retail licensees versus supplier licensees, and sort of the financial assistance concerns that could arise when we have those companies that could be on both sides of a financial assistance issue.
And more specifically, I guess what's your concern about those, about advertising as it relates to financial assistance?
Well, I mean, it's so, suppliers generally can't provide financial assistance either directly or indirectly to a retail licensee. So does the OLCC have any concerns about that in this context with these types of permittees?
I can say for our part, right, and for our part, we're not concerned about that. A third-party delivery facilitator still would need to, to the extent that they are an eligible business, for example, If a retail environment is still operating under their retail license, they would not be considered a third-party facilitator under the rules or under the statute. And so those would still apply. And we also have limitations in statute on financial interests between third-party delivery facilitators and other parts of the three-tier system. So we're not concerned with that. And obviously, if there's additional clarity that we can add that you would recommend, we would be more than open to language that you would recommend to make that more clear and more explicit.
Okay, I don't at the moment, but just wanted to hear your thoughts on it if it was considered. Sounds like it was. Also says, and I have a few comments mostly on this rule. I'll shut up in a couple minutes, but so it says that the third-party permittee can solicit, receive, and accept orders for alcohol beverages. But then it also says in subsection D, capital B, that the eligible business is supposed to control the acceptance of orders. I was of the, in looking at several of these similar types of permits in different states across the country, everybody does it a little differently. But I wonder, is the OLCC concerned about, do we want retail licensees to maintain the ability to really be the party that's accepting those orders? I worry that we're giving away license privileges to a permittee here, and just asking the question. I'm not hiding anything or suggesting anything. Just want to ask the question.
Certainly, and I think the intent of both the statute and the rules is to just make clear that the payment is coming in through the app, say for an Uber Eats or a DoorDash or those types of companies. They're accepting the payment, but the individual that's actually fulfilling the order, the group that is fulfilling the order is going to be the licensee at the other end. So, for example, if I go out and buy a pizza on a DoorDash app, I can't actually complete that order until the eligible business, in that example, has agreed to make the pizza, that kind of thing. And I think that's all the rules are trying to clarify, is that the acceptance of the order is on the licensee, whereas the third-party delivery facilitator is the one that's receiving the payment and then passing it through to the eligible business.
Okay. One other question related there is with sort of making sure that licensees are preserving their privileges, and one of the privileges of the licensee is to be able to accept payment for the sale of alcohol beverages. It also says here that these permittees may receive the payment, and I understand the intent is that they can sort of just collect it, and the payment really goes to the licensee. I didn't see anything in here that kind of talks about what sort of what type of fees can be charged by the third party. In other words, maybe one of them out there is gonna want to operate on a percentage basis where they want 50% of the sale of the alcohol beverage, and would it be acceptable for a third party delivery facilitator permittee to charge a 50% fee to deliver alcohol?
And that, at least for my part, I'm not going to necessarily speak for all our directors, but it's my understanding that these eligible businesses are contracting out with these third-party delivery facilitator companies, excuse me, to offer these services, and the fees are made clear in that agreement. We're not going to step into that regulation space at this moment, but we have said that these third-party delivery facilitators can charge a fee. So that is authorized under statute, but we haven't specified if there are limitations. We have rulemaking authority over that, so that may be an area that we look into the future as this rule evolves. Like I said, this is standing up a program that the legislature has authorized for January 1st. And then we're going to be looking forward to July 1st of 2020.